chat with my friend Dr. Bridge Bombi. He's one of the physician owners of the Bakersfield Heart Hospital and, of course, an officer of Centric Health. He's been keeping us up on the coronavirus. We're going to touch a little bit that today, but I'm going to take liberties to ask a few different questions of Dr. Bombi today. Dr. Bombi, welcome to a Friday, sir.
Richard, thank you very much. Hopefully you're doing well in this tumultuous world.
It is a tumultuous world, isn't it? Yeah, Dr. Bombi, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I think you're uniquely positioned to answer some of these questions. Your family, you are immigrants to this country. You came here like so many others and succeeded wildly because of the opportunities that this country has afforded you. And I think, and I had a question with Raji Brar yesterday of Countryside Markets, who came from her family. Her father immigrated from the Punjab area of India. So she is a first generation, and she was explaining to me the sadness that she saw, and mixed with some fear of the events of what happened in the Capitol, because to her, this country had always represented many things, but two of the things were safety and security, that the idea that the government would be here and would not come and go and represented stability in your life, whether it's through monetary policy or just a continuation of an active republic, is something that she never felt she could enjoy earlier. I'm going to ask you the same question. When you look at what happened in our nation's capital, what did that mean to you?
Richard, I always feel a little uncomfortable discussing issues which people are very passionate about and may have difference of opinion. Mm-hmm. But I respect the difference of opinion. Here are my unsettled thoughts. What transpired on January 6th, 2021 left me dejected, deflated, humiliated, and diminished. I come from third world. I've seen the scoundrels, the politicians who are scoundrels, who wrap themselves in flag and religious slogans to get money, power, and control. The corruption lies at every step of the way in the third world, and politics is the best way to actualize it. They pander the public with the populist rhetoric. They pack that rhetoric in easily digestible slogans, and people fall for it all the way. The second thing I want to say is democracy has a sacred covenant. And the covenant is, when you participate in democracy, you win or lose. You accept the result. You don't argue the result. You can't blame the system. The system is never going to be perfect. There are going to be imperfections. They have existed all along, and they will continue to persist. They will have changes in their imperfections. But to have flaws in the system doesn't make it systematically flawed. Third thing I'd like to say is that I have visited three places, Nagasaki and Hiroshima. When I visited Nagasaki, it's awe-inspiring. It leaves you somber. That's the first place in this world where nuclear bombs exploded. And the visit to that place is soul-touching. It makes you somber. Second place is Vatican. You go to Vatican, it's awe-inspiring, it's sublime. The third place I've been fortunate enough to go to is Oval Office. I spent about an hour or so a few years ago in Oval Office, and that's another awe-inspiring, humbling experience. The fact that you are in the august place on the planet Earth, where the bravest of the brave, smartest of the smart, occupied that space, and you happen to be there for a period of time. It's humbling, it's awe-inspiring. And Capitol Hill is the same way. It's the same way. I haven't been to Capitol Hill's insides, but that's on my do list. For that place to be desecrated by encouraged violence, it's incredible. Everybody's feelings are hurt, and some of us more than others, but that's a shame that cannot be repeated. And I also understand, Richard, you and I are in our 60s. There are kids out there, 5, 6, 8, 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
You don't want them to learn that somehow the authority doesn't matter, the sanctity doesn't matter, the system doesn't matter. You don't want to breach the foundational civic foundation. It was extremely disturbing. I think more so for me because I see the application of evil that politics and corruption yields in the third world. And on the top of that, what's really disturbing is that leaders from the banana republics have the audacity to say, "Oh, we're watching the things unfold in USA with grave concern."
Yeah.
And I promise you, that's not sympathy. That's schadenfreude. It's been a very disturbing week.
When you say, I think that's important. When you say flaws in the system do not mean the system is flawed. Expand on that, if you will.
The myth that has been perpetuated often and amplified in the echo chambers of the faithful is that somehow the ballot count was incorrect, somehow the votes were changed, somehow the Dominion voting system was flawed, and the bowels of the machines were changed. Allegations without evidence, repeated by a large number of respectable figures in the country, makes an impossible task for the people who are likely to believe to forget about it. Mm-hmm. These people actually believe the system was flawed. There was systemic flaw in the system. It wasn't just an aberration. The whole thing was evil. For what I say is this: if you have those considerations or suspicions, and you go through the process, you go through all the jurisdictions, the local judges, all the way to Supreme Court, where 6 of the judges are Republican, 3 were put in by Trump, and they don't even want to consider the case. Mm-hmm. You know what I say, Richard, is this: if it walks like a duck, if it looks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it is a duck. And sometimes you have to believe your lying eyes. It didn't happen. Yeah. It didn't happen. So stop selling it. So what happened is, in Gettysburg Address, Lincoln said, "The government of the people, by the people, for the people." What I saw Wednesday was government of the people killing the government for the people. Mm. Inciting resurrection is correct. I think a lot of people have been severely damaged to see that somehow, either through silence or through participation, they were part of this incredible shame that we have imposed on this beautiful republic.
Incredible shame, absolutely. We're talking to Dr. Bridget Bomby of Centric Health. Dr. Bomby, this country has never seen anything like this before, thank goodness, and hope we don't see it again. We're at a point now here where we're at a crossroads. Certainly there will be selective prosecutions of people who violated the law, whether it was for trashing the Capitol or assaulting a police officer or whatever. And Trump will be dealt with. The president will be dealt with one way or the the other, or he won't. In a broader sense, without focusing on any individual, it seems to me we're at a point where we have to decide as a country how far are we going to take the recriminations in this thing. And I'm torn between, yes, I want everyone held responsible, but I don't know if it's healthy for any society to go on a witch hunt at the end of the day to to get as many scalps as we can for people who may or may not have been allowing this to happen. From your perspective and from your time and looking at third world politics, do you have any advice on a society, on the American society, about going forward and how we view this? And do we continue down the road of prosecuting as many as we can, or is there a time for grace, or where do we go with this? Because I'm torn by this myself.
Richard, in my humble opinion, the democracy was shaken, not stolen. The republic is resilient, and the republic will endure. In due time, shock will wear off, and politicians will go back to their political dealings. January 6, 2021 will remain the abyss. It was a routine day that had ceremonial responsibility of electoral count. It was denied rendezvous with this destiny. It joins Pearl Harbor to live in ignominy. Having said that, the decency has to be foundational to politics again. We need to have camaraderie as foundation to governance. We need to have compromise as the bridge that takes us there. We need to have love as strength. At the end of the day, what's good for a goose has to be good for the gander. January 6th wasn't our finest moment. But let's not respond in kind, but with kindness. Let's unclench the fist and reach out with an open hand. We don't need to regress to trial by combat, as Giuliani suggested. We need to have kindness as the basis. The witch hunt will only exacerbate. This is a good time to forgive, but not forget. We don't want repetition of what happened, but kindness and love is the tool that's necessary right now. We need to make time for love. We need to listen. We need to be humble. Richard, vote only once every 2 years, but we live every moment. We need to regain equilibrium.
So true. Dr. Bami, I know you must have relatives back home. Did you hear from any of them, and did any of them or friends ask you, what the hell is going on in America? And what did you tell them?
It's the same shock. People are shell-shocked that the cradle of modern democracy, that has been the illuminating light for the rest of the world. The nation, based on a notion of democracy, rule of law, can suddenly succumb to the basest of emotions. Everybody's feelings have been hurt. I think sometimes, Richard, maybe it's necessary to stumble and break a bone or two to regain the balance. I like to believe that we come out of it a little bit embarrassed, a little bit second-guessing, but stronger and braver. We'll stand taller in not too much time from now. My only concern is swinging the pendulum. I don't want the leftist leanings to somehow rejoice this downfall, and that be the basis of an extremism from the left.
Right.
That would be an utter failure. I hope sanity and centrism. As a person, I declare my leanings here. I'm a center-right person, and some other person may be center-left. But the fringes need to be chopped off. They are just destroying the center.
I couldn't agree with you more. The fringes are killing us on this thing. Dr. Bridge Bombi, everybody. Any final thoughts on the vaccine before I let you go? I saw the fire department is getting it. Some of the senior care facilities are getting it. Is it your impression? Are we getting weekly or daily doses of the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines?
So the distribution system has caught up. The vaccination is the main thing. We at Centric Health and Howard Hospital, we're trying to make sure we are maximizing the vaccine clinics. And at the end of the day, as I discussed, the vaccine sitting in the refrigerator does no good. It has to be in people's arms. And we're trying to be part of the solution from that perspective, and we have vaccinated a lot of people. We continue to expand those abilities. And I haven't talked to the city or the public health department. I have a feeling that they're trying to do the same, and I hope that's happening across the nation. But in terms of the new news on the virus front, there was a lot of concern that the South African mutation and the English mutation that's based on a segment of the virus that attaches, it's on the spike protein. So there was a concern that this mutation possibly could allow the virus to navigate around the vaccine. So there was a trial that was conducted in Texas that showed it's a neutralization trial in which the virus was exposed to the blood from vaccinated humans, and the vaccine seemed to totally neutralize the mutant strains. So for now, we're safe. The vaccine works against both.
Oh, thank goodness.
The second thing is a couple of new drugs have been inflammatory medications for rheumatoid arthritis seem to have 25% reduction in mortality in ICU patients. So there are a couple of new developments from today.
What did you say? The drugs for rheumatoid arthritis? What did they do?
Are used in patients who are sick with COVID and are in ICU. They have shown 25% reduction in mortality.
Well, how about that? That's some good news. Okay, good. Excellent. All right. Dr. Bridge Bombi, everybody, of Bakersfield Heart Hospital and Centric Health, our sponsor. Dr. Bombi, thank you again for always coming on. And thank you for playing along with me. I know I'm going into kind of personal areas here of our relationship, asking you non-medical things, but I thought it was important, your perspective. So I thank you for sharing that, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I know, Richard, I'm sorry I speak too much, but the pathetic ambition should not be allowed to enhance itself on ruins of decency and democracy. We cannot let go of decency and democracy. We have to fight for it.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Dr. Bridge Bombi. Thank you, sir, and have a great weekend.
You too, buddy. Thank you.
Okay, buddy. Thank you.